been talking about what it means to follow Jesus. And that we are not called to be Christians. And the reason why that word kind of just has a negative meaning to me is it's been so watered down that you walk up to somebody in the streets and they just say, yeah, I'm a Christian. And they have no idea who Christ is. But Jesus Christ did not call us to be Christians. He called us to be disciples. And to be a disciple, we have to be a follower of Jesus Christ. And you'll remember a couple weeks ago we talked about our mission statement, and on that information sheet you were handed this morning, our mission statement is printed there. And we're working on getting it on some walls and stuff so that it's constantly before you. Because that is what Christ is calling us to do. To be and make disciples of Jesus Christ. The whole idea of this sermon series that we're in right now is trying to understand, okay, these are the words that we're seeing. How do we live that out? How do we put that into practice? This morning we're going to be looking at Matthew. And Matthew was a tax collector. He was disliked. Most generally, the tax collectors at that point in time were crooked. Because that's how they made their living. They would, okay, this is how much the Roman government requires of you. This is how much I'm adding on so that I'm making money myself. They were ousted from the Jewish culture because they were working for the Roman government, who was the ruler over the Jews. And so the Jews felt as though the tax collectors had betrayed them. Well, you know what? We're in the middle of tax season ourselves. And I don't know very many people that are really anxious. I'm going to these taxes. I'm going to go pay my taxes. Most of the people I know are really dreading it. And I've got a friend that has her own business. And she's really dreading it because it adds a whole lot of stress. Trying to get everything in place and make sure that you've done everything right. And this is the kind of man that Matthew was. He was the tax collector. But Jesus called him to follow. To follow. And today we're not going to be looking at a whole lot at that interaction between Christ and Matthew. We're just jumping ahead. We're not assuming, we've read it, we see it. And we'll read it this morning, but we know that Matthew walked away from his old life to follow Christ. But what we're going to be looking at today is, what did he do with that? What did he do with that command to follow Christ? What was it? It's the same command for us. We are called to follow Christ. What are we going to do about it? You see, last week we talked about how Christ can call the fishermen to be fishers of men. Today he's talking to a tax collector. The one thing I want you to be very clear on is that Christ was and is continuing to call people to follow him from all walks of life. None of us are exempt from that call. It's his desire that we would follow him. Let's stand together this morning as we read God's Word. Matthew chapter 9, starting at verse 9. Matthew chapter 9, starting at verse 1. As Jesus went on from there, he saw a man named Matthew sitting at a tax collector's booth. "Follow me," he told him. And Matthew got up and followed him. While Jesus was having dinner at Matthew's house, many tax collectors and sinners came and ate with him and his disciples. When the Pharisees saw this, they asked the disciples, "Why does your teacher eat with tax collectors and sinners?" On hearing this, Jesus said, "It is not the healthy who need the doctor, but the sick. But go and learn what this means. I desire mercy, not sacrifice. For I have come to call the righteous. I have come not to call the righteous, but sinners." Lord, I pray that today as we look at this, your word that has been given to us so that we might know what it is you are calling us to do. Lord, I pray that our ears would be open to your word today, that we would understand the call that you are placing on us. If we claim to be a follower, this is the word for us today. Lord, I pray that you would be with those young people this morning as they're in children's church, learning what it is, what your love is. See, today what we're really going to be focusing on is Matthew's feast. The party, the dinner party that he had in his home. We know that he's followed Christ. He's left his tax booth and he's gotten up and he followed Christ. And the very next thing that we read is that Jesus is sitting or he's reclining at the table at Matthew's house with a whole bunch of sinners. You see, Matthew got it. He knew that to be a follower of Jesus Christ, he had to leave the old and continue to pursue Christ. But in doing so, it wasn't all about him. It was about bringing his friends, his fellow tax collectors, other sinners to meet his master. See, we read in verse 10, while Jesus was having dinner at Matthew's house, many tax collectors and sinners came and ate with him and the disciples. Many tax collectors and sinners sat down with Christ and his disciples. See, Matthew's experienced this life-changing event, and the very next thing we see him doing is taking it to his friends and introducing his friends to his new master. They knew him before. They knew that he sat there and he collected more money than what was required by the Roman government. They knew that he was living in a life of sin. And those are the very same people that he brought to meet his new master. Life-changing event happened in Matthew's life. And he brings his new master to sit down and mingle and rub elbows and share stories and listen to his new master. But you see, it was a violation of the customs. Here now, Jesus, the King of the Jews, is sitting down with the vilest of vile sinners. And research says that most likely there was prostitutes mixed into that He already knew the life-changing event that happens when he met Jesus. And now he wanted his friends to understand that too. But what does that mean to us? What does that mean to you and me? I want to ask you this question. Who are you spending your time with? Are you spending your time with those that are living in a life of sin? And if you are you introducing them to your master? That's what it is. To be a follower of Jesus Christ, that's what we're supposed to be doing. Introducing the lost to a master. That's the kind of yes that was Jesus was eating sinners. But then we read on and we see that it's caused all this great disruption. And the Pharisees come and they challenge the disciples. Well, why is Jesus in there with all those sinners? Why is he doing this? The religious sect, they're just shocked. Because when you look back in time, the Pharisees, they carried out the traditions to the T. They made sure that they were perfectly clean. And that they did only what the law said they could do. But the law they were obeying wasn't the law of God. It was all the man-made laws that had been added to the law of God. In fact, at another point in Scripture, Jesus says to the Pharisees, you're like whitewashed tombs. You are perfectly clean on the outside and rotten on the fulfilling the law. But here they are, asking, why would Jesus be eating with tax collectors and sinners? And most likely, we don't know this for sure, but from what we know about the Pharisees and we know about their tradition and everything, we could almost see this happening. Here's Jesus inside the home, eating dinner with them. And the Pharisees are all gathered around the doorway or around the windows, looking in, accusing Jesus of being unclean because he's associating with the sinners. Get that picture? You see that? You see, we don't really have Pharisees today. We don't have people that well, I guess we do, but honestly, I don't know any personally that fulfill this. But we do have people that question us in front of others. We do have people that are constantly putting their expectations on us. And when we don't live up to their expectations, there's something wrong with us. Guess what? That's a bunch of garbage. The only one we need to be pursuing is Christ. And it doesn't matter what other people think about that. And if he's calling us to go and work with the most vile of sinners, that's what we need to be doing. This last week for youth group, I showed a video by the skit guys called Baggage, or Luggage. And in that skit, they start off with baggage, and you're just carrying stuff. And then as you go through life, more stuff is piled onto you, and more stuff is piled onto you, and more stuff is piled onto you. But the thing that stands out in my mind right now as I'm thinking about this portion of Scripture is some of the baggage that we carry are the expectations of others. How, oh, you're this person, we expect you to do this. We expect you to live at this level. But the thing is if you're a follower of Jesus Christ, it doesn't matter what those other people's expectations are. You have one to answer to, and that is Christ. if you are doing what He has called you to do. And it doesn't matter if that means going out and working in the shop down the road. If that's what God's called you to do, you do it to the fullest. No matter what others' expectations are. But so often, we listen to those and we let them play in our minds over and over and over again. And we let ourselves get discouraged because we're not doing what somebody else expects. Are you Christ's as a follower of Jesus Christ? Are you doing what He has asked you to do? Who is it you're reaching out to? I want to tell you that as you walk with the Lord and you're pursuing Him and you're doing what it is He asks you to, He puts people in your path that He wants you to minister to. You guys all know that we've been getting food for the food pantry from Aldi's for 3 or 4 months now. In that 3 or 4 month period of time, I've been building relationships with some of the people at Aldi's. When we're really concerned about people, God will pursue us. When we're pursuing Him and following what it is He has for us, God opens doors. And this last Friday when I went and picked up food, I had gotten all this stuff loaded up and I was talking with Melissa, the store manager. And I just said to her, thank you. Thank you so much for what it is you're doing. And I said, I know it's out of your heart that this whole thing is happening because she's the store manager. She could either kibosh it or endorse it. And she has endorsed it full-heartedly to the point where all of the other employees that I've worked with, I don't know, I can't say 100% of them, but all the ones I've worked with are so excited that instead of throwing the food in the dumpster, they're giving it to those that are in need. And I said to her, Melissa, I just want to let you know, not only am I sharing what you're doing with our congregation, I want to let you know that I'm praying for you too. And I asked her, I said, is there something specific that I could be praying for you? And she started to say no, and right before that, I had said something, about how long her and I have been talking and how we've been building this relationship. And then she shared something. She goes, I don't know why I'm sharing this with you. I haven't even shared this with my family. But she shared something with me to be praying with her about. Praying for her. When we are willing to do what God has called us to as a follower, as a disciple, He is going to put people in our path that are hurting, that are broken, that are living in a life of sin. What are we going to do? It'd be really easy just to go and get the food, say thank you, walk back out the door, and see you next week. But I have a master that loved me so much that He went to the cross for my sin. And as a follower of my master, as a disciple of my master, I want everybody I come in contact with, all of those that are struggling, that are living in sin, that are hurting, to I know where He saved me from. And I don't really care what people think about it. Paul said that he's willing to be made to look like a fool for the advancement of the gospel, that one might come to know the Lord. Who are you? Who are you spending time? Being influenced. Or caution. The devil's really tricky. And he can let you think that you're there influencing this person for the Lord, in all reality. Because we're not walking as close as we need to be for the Lord. We're being influenced. Spend time with Him. And there they are, the Pharisees. They're at the window peering in, asking the disciples, why is Jesus associating with sinners? And Jesus hears them. And this is the response that we hear from the Savior. On hearing this, Jesus said, it is not the healthy who need a doctor, but the sick. It doesn't just let it rest. Think about those few words. It speaks words to us, doesn't it? You know, there's a promotion for self, the healthy checkups and all that kind of stuff. I don't know about most of you, but for me, I'm not going to the doctor unless there's something really wrong. And even then, I'm not going to the doctor until my wife forces me. I avoid the doctor at all costs. Probably not the smartest thing, but that's just the way I am. I don't like them. But Jesus says, who needs a doctor, the sick or the healthy? Obviously, it's the sick person that needs the doctor. Now let's translate that into Jesus being the healer of all sin. Who needs Him? The sick, the lost, the sinners, or those that are walking with the Lord? Well, we all do. But frankly, those that are walking with the Lord, we're walking with the Lord. He's already walking with us. The sinners need Him. And Jesus says to the Pharisees, who needs a doctor? The healthy or the sick? Then He goes on to say, but go and learn what this means. I desire mercy, not sacrifice. For I have not come to call the righteous, but the sinners. In these words, we see a rebuke to the Pharisees for what is lacking in their life. They're doing all the acts. They're following all the motions. They got it down. They know what it's supposed to be done. But in their heart, they're not filled with mercy. They're not living it out. Jesus is rebuking them for what's lacking in their lives. In Hosea 6:6, he talks about how sacrifice without mercy means nothing. People come to church. They go through the motions of what they think a Christian is supposed to do. But there's nothing happening in their heart. They're as dead to the love of Jesus Christ as the person outside the walls, living in deep sin. But as a follower of Jesus Christ, there's something happening in us, and we're so excited about this change that's happening that we want to drag our master to all of our lost friends. Spending time with the sinners. Jesus challenged them. Are they pursuing human motives, or are they pursuing His motives? And His motive is one for the lost to be found. For those that are on their way to hell, to have that intervention in their life, that time where they meet the Master, and it changes their destiny forever. What does this mean for us? Well, first of all, we need to follow. We need to be a follower of Jesus Christ. Pursuing Him with our whole heart. Willing to acknowledge where we have fallen, where we have failed, and change. Turn from that sin and go the opposite direction from it. That's the first step. But next, it's we are not to separate ourselves from the world, but we're to live in the world set apart from the world. Meaning that we're going to go right back out to that job and work with those guys that are just got the most foulest language and the worst. You know what? I work construction. I know what it's about. You know how many stories I've heard about jumping in bed with that one, jumping in bed with that one. This guy, he's divorced from his wife for 3 or 4 years. He's living with this girl, but he's still going back and having sex with his ex-wife. Something wrong with that picture. That's sin, isn't it? I know what it's about to live in that. But I want to tell you, you can live in the world and be separate from the world because of what Christ has done in our hearts, in our lives. He wants us to stay there. He wants us to show His love. He wants to sit down at the table with our friends that are living in a life of sin. But what do we do when we criticize because we're still hanging out with the sin? How do we respond to that? The best response? Go back to Scripture. How did Christ respond? Don't accuse them of any wrong, those that are criticizing us. But simply, we can say, hey, I'm following my Master. I'm doing what Christ did. Spending time with those that don't know God. In a couple weeks, we're going to be having a pop-up here. We're going to be having some special speakers in that day. And what would it be like if you invited some of your friends to come have a meal with you? But you see, a couple weeks ago we watched a video at the end of the service, and that lady was sitting there talking to us. And she asked this very pointed question. Now that you've heard all this, what are you going to do? Are you going to take it out those doors today? Out to the world that you live in? Or are you going to let it sit right here and you're going to pick it up next week when you come back? Christ has called us to be followers, to be disciples, and to make disciples of Jesus Christ. And the only way we can do that is by taking it out to the world that is lost. Matthew answered that call to follow Christ. He got up from that tax table and went following Christ. Are you willing to take it? Are you willing to accept that call that He's extended to each and every one of us? To follow Him? And if you are willing to follow Him, are you willing to introduce your friends? Let's stand to Lord, today as we've heard you speak through Matthew's story, we know that there's a clear call for us that we are to follow you, but not only follow you, we are to introduce you to our friends. Introduce our friends to you. Lord, we know that not all of our friends will accept you just because of us sharing what you've done in our life. But Lord, I pray that we wouldn't give up. That we would continue sharing your story, your love. Lord, as we go out these doors this morning, I pray that you would just help us to be more challenged today than we were when we came in here to go out into this world that we live that is so filled with sin, that we would pursue you and be challenged by you to share your love with those that we come in contact with. Lord, I pray that you give us courage. Some of the places where we are not the easiest environments to live in or to work. Lord, I pray that you would just help us to live strong. To live strong lives so loud